Sienna Harper had spent months trying to rebuild her life after the devastating end of her 6-year relationship. Moving to Rosewood City was supposed to be a fresh start, a way to escape the memories that haunted her. She rented a small apartment on the edge of town and began teaching painting classes at the local community center, hoping the routine would help her find peace. Her classes were usually uneventful, filled with hobbyists and retirees seeking a creative outlet. But one evening, as the autumn chill crept into the studio, a new student walked in. He was tall, with dark curls and a confident, easy smile. "Hi," he said, setting his bag by an empty easel. "I'm Ethan Miller. I just joined the class. Hope that's okay." Sienna nodded, gesturing for him to take a seat. She wasn't used to having college students in her class, but something about his energy intrigued her. As the session began, Ethan quickly stood out. He wasn't the most skilled painter, but his enthusiasm was infectious. He asked questions, cracked jokes, and approached each brushstroke with unrestrained curiosity. At the end of class, while others packed up, Ethan lingered. His eyes fell on one of Sienna's paintings, a moody, abstract piece that seemed to swirl with sadness. "This is incredible," he said, his voice earnest. "It feels raw, like it's alive." "Thank you," Sienna replied, feeling a mix of pride and vulnerability. "Do you always paint your feelings?" "Sometimes it's the only way to understand them," she admitted. Ethan smiled, nodding. "That's why I write. Words help me untangle what's inside." His sincerity caught her off guard. It had been so long since anyone had seen her, not just her art, but her. As Ethan walked out of the studio that night, Sienna felt a flicker of something she hadn't felt in months. Hope. Sienna Harper couldn't ignore the shift Ethan Miller had brought into her life. His presence in her painting class had started as a curiosity, but now it felt like an anchor pulling her out of the emotional drift she had been stuck in for months. Yet, as weeks passed, she found herself grappling with an internal tug-of-war. One side longing to embrace this connection, the other building walls to protect her still fragile heart. Ethan was relentless in his pursuit of understanding her. Not in a pushy way, but with a genuine curiosity that was hard to resist. After class one evening, he invited her to a poetry reading at Rosewood University. Sienna hesitated, wary of stepping into his world, but his hopeful expression made it impossible to refuse. The small cafe on campus was buzzing with life when she arrived. Ethan spotted her immediately, his face lighting up as he waved her over. She felt out of place among the youthful crowd, but Ethan's easy demeanor put her at ease. When it was his turn to perform, Sienna was unprepared for the depth of his words. Ethan's poem, raw and vulnerable, spoke of longing, resilience, and the courage to heal. As he spoke, Sienna felt her defenses cracking. For the first time in years, someone's words resonated with the pain she had locked away. Afterward, they wandered through the quiet campus, the cool night air sharp against their skin. Ethan opened up about his struggles with self-doubt, his dreams of becoming a writer, and how art had always been his escape. Sienna found herself sharing more than she intended, about the breakup that had left her questioning everything, about how painting had once been her sanctuary but now felt like a chore. "You're stronger than you realize," Ethan said softly, his eyes meeting hers. "You're still standing, still creating. That means something." His words stayed with her long after she returned home. While part of her wanted to retreat behind her walls, another part, a quieter, braver part, felt drawn to the possibility of something new. Ethan was different, and for the first time, Sienna wondered if she could be, too. Sienna Harper stood in the middle of the bustling art gallery, her heart pounding as visitors examined her paintings. Her first solo exhibition in Rosewood City had been Ethan's idea, a chance to reclaim her passion and share the journey she had been on. Each piece reflected her emotions, from the muted grays of heartbreak to the vibrant hues of renewal. She had poured her soul into these works, and now, seeing strangers moved by them, she felt something she hadn't in years: pride. Ethan arrived late, his usual confident grin softened by something more tender. "Sorry I'm late. I had to finish something," he said, handing her a folded piece of paper. "What's this?" she asked, her brow furrowing. "Just read it when you get a chance," he said, his cheeks flushing slightly before he disappeared into the crowd. Later that evening, when the gallery emptied, Sienna unfolded the paper. It was a poem, written in Ethan's familiar handwriting. The words were raw and intimate, capturing the moments they had shared: her cautious smiles, her quiet resilience, and his admiration for the strength she didn't know she possessed. Tears welled in her eyes as she read the final line. "With you, I've discovered that love isn't something to fear but something to trust again." Ethan's graduation was the following week, a milestone that brought both excitement and uncertainty. Standing among his friends and family, Sienna felt a pang of doubt. Could this connection survive the inevitable changes ahead? That evening, Ethan drove them to a quiet lakeside retreat outside the city. Under the stars, he turned to her, his expression serious yet soft. "Sienna, I know you're scared. I am too. But you've taught me more about courage than anyone else. You've shown me that love isn't just about holding on. It's about letting go of the fear." Sienna felt the weight of his words settle in her chest. She had spent so long protecting herself from pain that she had forgotten how to embrace joy. "I'm scared," she admitted, her voice trembling, "but I'm also ready." And for the first time in years, she truly meant it.